Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing great, but Reforge Gaming, unsurprisingly, is not, because our good buddy Reforge got himself involved in a bit of controversy recently surrounding Elden Ring Nightreign. Now, for those of you who don't know what happened, let me give a little bit of a recap. So, Nightreign came out on the 30th, or late on the 29th of May. It was met with immediate success. It sold over 2 million copies in a day, had over 300,000 concurrent players on Steam. It was a massive success right from the jump, but the game was met with quite a bit of criticism for missing basic multiplayer features, among other things. The main issue is just the lack of duos and crossplay and stuff like that. Now, a few days after the game came out, Reforge uploaded a video called Elden Ring Nightreign Should Have Flopped, and the main argument of the video was that if this was a different company releasing this game, missing basic multiplayer features and whatnot, the game would have flopped. And he spent a lot of time in the video criticizing the game and talking about everything that it did wrong. The problem is that he hasn't actually played the game. Now, don't get me wrong, you don't need to play Nightreign to criticize it for not having duos, crossplay, voice chat, stuff like that. Like, those are objective issues. You do not have to play the game to know that that's a problem. The issue with Reforge's video is that he was also discussing things like, oh, well, I've heard that solo play is just completely unplayable and the game isn't tuned for it. Like, his entire video was saying, I've heard this, and it's just him admitting outright that he's just looking at reviews and echoing what they're saying. There was literally not a single original thought in his entire video. Now, as expected, because, you know, he admitted to not playing the game, and then he still made a video saying it should have flopped, he got massively ratioed, and then he proceeded to crash out on stream about getting ratioed on the video. And when I say this is bad, this is bad. So what I want to do for this video is we're going to take a look at a few clips from his original Nightreign video, just to kind of show what the problems people had with it were, and then we're going to take a look at his crash out he had on stream afterwards. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this.
And now the majority of the negative reviews are really focusing on all of the other shortcomings that the game has, and honestly, I think those issues are more glaring, because you can't really just like patch those out. Like, performance problems are generally patched and fixed pretty quickly by most studios. So the second problem is the lack of features, and the reviews that I've watched, I've read, and combed over, they're zeroing in on the same ones every time. And the first is that there's no crossplay. This is a massive deal breaker for a game that basically requires multiplayer to even engage with it. Highly skilled solo players are reporting that the game is just not really tuned for solo play. Even From Software basically said that it's designed for 3 people.
Okay, let's get this very straight right now. This game absolutely does not require multiplayer. The game is pretty well tuned for solo. Now, granted, this video came out before the first patch, which gave the free self-revive and some extra rune acquisition in solo, but that was literally all they changed. They just slightly increased the amount of runes you get, and they gave you 1 free self-res per boss. Even on launch, the game's solo was absolutely playable. Granted, some characters are definitely not suited for solo as well as they are for co-op, but in a game where the first priority is co-op, obviously that's going to be the case. You're going to have characters that are designed for team-based play who won't work well solo. And Reforge, you know what you could have done instead of just reading reviews and going off of what other people say? Considering you own the game, you could have just tried to play it solo and see for yourself what it was like. You know, you could have actually played the game a little bit, because in a minute here, he's going to talk about how he couldn't get his friends together to play multiplayer because there wasn't crossplay. Again, that's an actual legit complaint and issue, but the solo experience you can absolutely try for yourself. And as somebody who has platinumed the game, I can confirm solo is just fine. Just don't play Recluse or Revenant. And people were onto him in the comments. Like, look at the top comment. It says, this sounds like it's made from the perspective of not being able to kill the first Night Lord. And then Reforge replies, didn't even bother playing due to no crossplay, but sure, Defense Force makes it all about get good, proving the fan base is overlooking flaws and blindly defending. And then this guy responds, so you're just regurgitating what other people are saying the flaws are? Lamau, come on, man. Exactly, that is the problem people have. This man couldn't even be bothered to try the game solo, or at the bare minimum, just fill with a random squad, which he's gonna talk about filling with randoms in a minute, and just you wait.
They built a game that hinges on playing with 2 other people, and they launched it without crossplay. This made me basically back off from even trying to stream it. I had 1 person on PC who could help, 1 on PS5, and 1 on Xbox. Well, I can't do anything with that. We all have to be on the same platform. But let's just say that I had enough people. Well, hopefully all those players are in a position to use Discord, because the second glaring problem that keeps coming up is there's no voice comms. Now, this immediately compounds itself because they built a game that is not designed for solo or even duo play, so you have to have people that are going to be using matchmaking more than likely to fill their team if they don't have a full one, and then you have no way to communicate with them. I guess you could maybe try to go through the, backwards thing of like, well, I'll send you an invite, get you into Discord or something else. It's not baked into the game itself. Now, this comes up as a major oversight in almost every negative review that I looked at.
Again, that key phrase, every negative review I looked at. You couldn't even be bothered to play the game that you yourself bought and actually try this out to see how much of an issue it was. Should there be voice chat? Should there be text chat? Yes to both of those. Those should be in the game. I am not denying that. However, saying there is no way to communicate with your team is completely false. The pinging system, while definitely not perfect, I covered this in my previous video criticizing the game, it's still fine for what it is, at least right now. Because at the end of the day, it really lets you communicate the most important things that you need to communicate with your party. You can ping items on the ground, and you can ping where you're going. And in my experience, because I actually played the game, I've played a lot with randoms. Some of them are bad at the game, yes, but pretty much every single person I've played with, I've been able to communicate with just fine through the ping system, and we've gotten to the Night Lords just fine. I mean, hell, in the gameplay you're seeing right now, there's me and Blast, we're in Discord together, and then we queued up randomly with John Elden. We obviously couldn't talk on voice chat or anything, but through the pinging system, you'll see throughout the gameplay that I'm showing, we were able to communicate and coordinate just fine. Also, I just have to point this out, you couldn't have done like a community thing and just had 2 people from your community who are on PS5 join you, and then you could all just like get into Discord together and talk through that. Like, dude, you always have at least hundreds of people watching you. Are you really trying to say you couldn't have found 2 people from your community on PS5? Like, I'm sorry, but at that point the solution's right in front of you and you're just ignoring it.
A handful of reviews touched on this indirectly as well. They spoke to the fact that they rarely felt powerful, and the few times that they did, it's very easy for bad RNG or even a random player that they can't communicate with, well, they make a mistake, and then the run is basically ruined. The bosses also, from what everybody's saying, they just feel like they take forever to kill. So even successful runs aren't that exciting. You're just sort of hacking away at a boss that seemingly refuses to die. And I know they're supposed to be tough, but a fight that you master and it just goes on for forever simply because they have a large health pool doesn't really sound like a great time.
Again, if only you could have played the game and gotten this experience yourself so you can know if these reviews are actually truthful. Because do the bosses have large health pools? Yes. Do you want to know why? It's because all 3 of your teammates are supposed to constantly be hacking away at them. Of course, just one person attacking the boss is going to make the damage look super small. That is, if you're in multiplayer. But if you're in solo, or, if your whole team is actively fighting the boss together, you can cut down their health pretty quickly. And honestly, anybody who's saying that probably is not using a weapon that has the boss's weakness with it. Like, I cannot stress this enough. If you are struggling with the Night Lord bosses, use a weapon that does the damage type that they are weak to. It does way more damage, especially when you get, like, the elemental stagger off. And also, if you get that stagger off, you can just straight up stop the boss from doing certain moves. And I'm gonna be completely honest, whoever's saying that they don't feel any more powerful as the game goes on is probably playing Duchess. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Duchess is a great character, but she definitely has the lowest, like, increase in attack power out of everybody. At least in my experience, she does rely on a lot of status effects. Oh god, I just thought of a pickup line. Hey girl, are you into status effects? Cause you just inflicted frostbite on me. Cause she gave you chills. I don't know why my brain works this way. You know what? If somebody out there is trying to ask a girl out, go ahead and use that line. And if it doesn't work, skill issue.
Now, the second theme that continued to emerge in this sort of it's not even that great of a game is it's not a good FromSoft game. Many are saying it feels like a hollow asset flip and nothing more. All of the things that made Elden Ring great are either absent or just very cheap versions of themselves. I read and heard on numerous occasions people thought this would just be a better $20 DLC or like an added mode to the base game of Elden Ring, but as a standalone $40 game, it just sort of feels like a cheap asset flip cash grab, which is honestly kind of weird to see, but the user scores do speak to this. It has a 68% on Steam, a 72% on Xbox, and a 76% on PlayStation.
Yeah, you want to know why they reuse a lot of assets from Elden Ring? It's because it's a spin-off. It's almost like it literally has Elden Ring in the name. Damn, guys, I can't believe a $40 spin-off of another game reuses assets from the original game. But no, anybody calling this a cash grab is just completely wrong. Not only is the gameplay drastically different, but the Night Lords alone prevent this from being a cash grab. Now, if the Night Lords were reused from Elden Ring, then we could start talking about, okay, this is kind of a cash grab, but every single one is brand new and they are all great except Augur, which honestly is mid at worst. That reminds me, stay tuned for an upcoming video where I will be ranking every Night Lord with spec. Subscribe if you want to see that. Also, the user scores are not low because it's an asset flip. Like you just said before, from all the reviews that you read, most of the complaints are about the lack of multiplayer features. But yeah, those are the main points I wanted to cover from his original video. You can see now, I'm sure, why people didn't really like it. And now we're gonna take a look at the crash out he had on stream after getting ratioed on the video and getting all those comments making fun of him for not even playing the game. Let's take a look.
The performance of Nightreign on PS5 is absolutely disgusting, and it's quite annoying how FromSoft keeps getting a pass. I am disappointed that as a YouTuber, it's never, you know, great when a video kind of underperforms. I'm really disappointed in the way my Nightreign video is treated. It got brigaded by the defense force of FromSoft. It has a 46% like ratio, and the viewership tanked because they all went and brigaded it. They all went and left hate comments and didn't watch the video. It's like they shoveled out a game that doesn't run well, that's missing basic features for a multiplayer game to function, and you're all lapping it up like good little fanboy doggies, like Jiminy frickin' Christmas.
Reforge calling other people fanboys. Oh, this is rich. Especially when he's talking about people just lapping up stuff that companies put out. This dude bought 2 PS5 Pros. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, he's not a fanboy who laps stuff up. Also, saying people didn't watch your video and they're just the FromSoft Defense Force is complete BS. You yourself stated in your video you didn't play the game and that all your information you got was just coming from reviews online. If you didn't play the game, but you just focused on objective issues, like the lack of multiplayer features, then it would have been a fine video. But you didn't play the game, then made a video titled Elden Ring Nightreign should have failed, and half of your points were from reviews you read instead of your own experience. Also, I just gotta point out, you're complaining that the viewership tanked, which I believe you on that, but also this video was doing pretty well compared to most of your other recent videos. And just as an example, look at the video I made 2 weeks ago criticizing Nightreign. Yes, it doesn't have as many views as yours, so obviously it's not going to have as many likes or dislikes, but proportionally, my like ratio is way better. It's 94.5% positive. You want to know why? Because I actually played the game and gave honest feedback based on what I had experienced. I didn't say the game should have failed because of what I read online. Obviously, every game and every company has its fanboys. I mean, Reforge is one of them. But labeling everybody who disliked your video and left a comment saying it was bad as a fanboy is just disingenuous.
It's just like everybody hand-waving the egregious performance issues of Monster Hunter Wilds. Fanboy gamers are the worst because they overlook actual problems and then want to fight about stuff that doesn't matter.
Dude, where the hell were you on the release of Monster Hunter Wilds? The performance was by far the biggest criticism of the game. It just so happens that people are more accepting of a game's flaws or are more okay with it if the rest of the game is still great. Besides, look at the reviews for Monster Hunter Wilds. It's not like people are giving this thing a pass and just praising it. Are there fanboys? Yes, but they're not the majority. I made this very clear in my last video where I talked about Final Fantasy coming to Xbox. box. And the fact that you're sitting here trying to pass off all the dislikes as just being from fanboys is ridiculous. Hear me out. Maybe you made a bad video.
Stupid. Defense Force is the worst thing for your video. It's the worst thing because you get flooded with bad views. They all come to your video, hit downvote, leave a comment, and don't watch, and they leave. It's like,
so, wait. Let me get this straight for a second. You're upset that people came to your video, left a dislike, left a negative comment, and then didn't watch it. Yet your original video was you being extremely negative about Nightreign without having even played it. You booted up the game for 30 minutes, didn't even arrive at the round table hold because you get an achievement for that, and that achievement wasn't there. Then just made a negative video talking about it. The levels of irony are off the charts. It's okay for him to talk trash about a game he's never played, but it's not okay for people to dislike a video that they apparently didn't watch, according to Reforge, even though you can tell from a lot of the negative comments that they definitely did watch the video. It's really funny to think. Reforge literally spent more time making that video than playing Nightreign, yet he expects the people who click on his video to give him a courtesy he couldn't even give to the game he was talking about. Interesting.
and then I get Defense Force brigaded on the Nightreign video. And both of my videos are bullseyes. It's like, these games should not be given a pass. You shouldn't be But what drives me crazy about this is we get all this belly aching and whining about AAA games are in the toilet and AAA, bleh, and then these are the same people that defend games like this. It's like you literally are lapping up slop from two big AAA companies, FromSoft and Capcom, and acting like it's okay for them to ship games in the state that they shipped in. You're everything wrong with gaming.
That's right, guys. Elden Ring Nightreign is slop because it's missing some features at launch. And by the way, I looked through the comments on your video for a while. I didn't see a single person saying it was okay that Nightreign released without duos or voice chat or anything like that. Not one comment. People were making fun of you because you made this video about how the game should have flopped, and in the video you blatantly stated you had never played the game. You're right, the game shouldn't be given a pass, but I also don't know who is giving it a pass exactly. The Nightreign community, myself included, have been very vocal about the issues with the game, and FromSoft has been very receptive to feedback. It only took a couple days to make solos a little easier. And plus, didn't they just send out like surveys or something, literally asking people what they can do to be better? This is what gets me. Reforge is acting like this game is a cyberpunk situation, where the game is completely awful and unplayable, to the point where companies are just giving out refunds to everybody, when that's not even close to true. Nightreign has a lot of flaws, but that doesn't make it slop. I swear, the word slop has gone down the same path as the word woke, where it's being overused so much that nobody can even explain what it means anymore.
Both of those games should have been eviscerated. They shouldn't have been praised. They shouldn't be getting like award nominations. They shipped in a state that they shouldn't have shipped in. It was like people doing Defense Force on Mind's Eye. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Did I just hear that right? Did Reforge just compare Elden Ring Nightreign and the people defending it to Mind's Eye? Which, by the way, Mind's Eye is actually unplayable slop. Every version of the game, console and PC, no matter how good your system is, it runs like garbage. Not to mention the bajillion other issues it has. And you're gonna sit here and say that people defending Nightreign is the same thing as people defending Mind's Eye? By the way, who the hell is defending Mind's Eye? Please tell me. I would genuinely love to know. In fact, a few minutes later, Reforge admits that the performance issues that he's complaining about aren't even really bad. And really, the main performance issue, at least that I've had, has been on Gaping Jaw, like when he does his massive purple lightning attacks. It'll freeze the game for a second, which again is bad, but nowhere near as bad as Mind's Eye. Just look at this.
Xbox at least was pretty smooth for me. The performance problems are not game-breaking, homie. It's just frame issues, like bosses with frame drops and stuttering and freezing and stuff. It's not the whole time. Like, you can play the game. It's not like egregious where you're unable to play.
Yet just a couple minutes prior, you compared the game to Mind's Eye and called it slop. Like, dude, I'm done. Thankfully, that was the last of the clips I had. I actually can't with this guy. Doesn't play the game, says it should have failed, and then compares the people defending it to people defending Mind's Eye. This is unironically the worst take Reforge has had in a long time. Like, he has a lot of bad takes, but they're not like this offensively stupid. This dude is so ass blasted over getting backlash for a video on a game he didn't play. It's crazy. Dude, just stick in your own lane, honestly. Genuinely, you console warring is better than this. But yeah, anyway, guys, with all that being said, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. And like I said before, stay tuned, because me and Spec are making a video ranking every Night Lord in the game. Can't wait for that. Anyway, be sure to like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more. Join us every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern for Salt streams, and join us every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on the gaming channel for gaming streams. And I will catch you all next time.